Delicious barbecue chicken. So easy, so simple. Oh, it's one of my favorite things to do on the grill. I did this using Maritime Madness Garden Herb Dry Rub and Maritime Madness Bold and Smoky Grilling Sauce. I thought I'd show you the entire thing because it turned out to be absolutely delicious. Check that dry rub out, eh? And look at this, sauce to perfection. Like, seriously, this turned out to be some of the most delicious chicken I've eaten in a while. Let me talk you through the entire thing. What's up? What's up? It's Saucy Rossy, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. Today, like I said, I'm grilling up some chicken. So make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Tell me how much you like chicken. And if you ever get the chance, let me know if you've ever had any products by Maritime Madness, because seriously, they make some delicious sauces and dry rubs. So let's talk about this. You know, I always am emphasizing delicious barbecue sauces, dry rubs, but these come from a unique company, Maritime Madness. They're actually a hot sauce company, but they've recently kind of expanded into barbecue stuff. And they're based out of Prince Edward Island here in Atlantic Canada. Holy cow. I really enjoyed this chicken. It was just so flavorful and delicious. And that was mainly because of the dry rub and the sauce. Now, I only put the sauce on top of the skin, so the dry rub really did a lot of work here. But starting off, I got a compliments chicken from Sobeys here in Atlantic Canada. Actually, now that I think about it, I got chicken legs, not a chicken. I got a lot of stuff from Sobeys that day. But yeah, this cooks with chicken legs and just basically took them out, patted them dry on all sides. That's really important when you're doing barbecues to have nice dry pieces of meat. You can also season them preemptively, but in this case, I'm just seasoning them now. So how did I season them? I simply grabbed the chicken skin like this and pull it back. Now, some people don't like chicken skin at all. If that's you, you can simply pull it right off. There's all kinds of uses too for chicken skin. For example, you can fry it and it can just be like a little crisp. That's more in like Mexican style food and stuff, but it's absolutely delicious. Anyway, today we're going on with that garden herb by Maritime Madness. I've already mentioned this a few times, but this stuff was absolutely insane. So I went in underneath that skin, as you can see, and then simply just pulled it up over top. That's really important because dry rubs don't go through the skin. You really have to make sure you fully coat the chicken or really whatever piece of meat you're cooking whenever you're applying a dry rub. Another really important thing to make sure you're doing is, this might sound weird, but don't rub the dry rub. You want to like pat it in. If you're rubbing it all around, it really isn't doing the best for the dry rub. That's why you see people kind of like spritz it on, sprinkle it on like this, and almost like pat it down. Anyway, so I get all four of these legs done up under the skin, and then I'm going all over the top. And I'm serious, like I'm really applying this dry rub. And it doesn't matter what dry rub you're using, you do want to season liberally, both sides as well. Now, with that we got under the skin done and on top, flip them over and get all of this covered too. Now, on the bottom, you don't need to go under the skin. If you really want to be anal about it, you totally can, though. But that's up to you. You know, each their own. I'm not going to say you shouldn't. It's probably delicious. It's only going to add more flavor. But at that point, you're still going to already be biting into parts that are seasoned on top. So, like I said, get them fully coated. Next, I'm doing these on a charcoal grill. As you can see here, I have my charcoal bed centered directly in the middle of the grill. That way, the air really circulates all around on these chicken legs. That's super important for me, is just how the air is going over everything. You know, a charcoal grill is just basically a convection oven. What's happening is that heat from the charcoal is forcing the air to go around in a centrifugal motion, almost like a little tornado inside. It's just kind of moving all over. The air is just going over. And that's why when you have smoke in there, or you throw a little piece of wood, that it ends up distributing the smoke so perfectly. Now, with chicken, it's really important that you cook it properly. 165 degrees internal is a must. You need to make sure you're cooking it all the way through. And you always should check with a meat thermometer. I highly recommend that. You know, you do hear me say how long in time it takes to cook something, but remember, we're not always at the exact same temperature. But today I'm cooking it at about 400 degrees, 450, and I'm trying to make sure that dry rub is just cooking in there and really adding in that flavor. At this point, we're at about 150 degrees internal. I just checked it with the thermometer. You can see that Maritime Madness Garden Herb dry rub on there. Looks like it's just perfectly cooked, really imparting that flavor. So next, I'm going to go ahead and get the barbecue sauce of choice. And today I'm using Maritime Madness Bold and Smoky grilling sauce, like I already mentioned. This stuff was absolutely fantastic. And I gave it, again, a nice little liberal layer on there and spread it around with a little barbecue brush. Seriously, this stuff is delicious. I love the fact that they have this bold, smoky barbecue sauce. Now, I'm not always smoking stuff, right? Just because it's a charcoal grill doesn't mean it's adding smoke. You know, I already have the coal bed good to go. It's just that heat and that cast iron grill grate out here on the Napoleon Charcoal Grill that I'm really loving. But as you can see, holy cow, it's tacking up. It's becoming amazing. This looks so delicious and incredible. I am psyched up about this. Holy guacamole. Seriously, all four of these chicken legs look delicious and smell incredible. Now, like I said before, we hit 165 internal, and I'm going to pull it off. I'm just going to plate it up, pretty simple. I think with this meal, I even had like corn and beans or something. It was super basic, but anyway, I highly recommend this bold and smoky barbecue sauce and this garden herb dry rub, both by Maritime Madness. You can check them out on their website. Buddy, this was just delicious. I loved this meal. Look, if you like barbecue chicken, make sure you like and subscribe. If you want to get some awesome recipes under your belt, go check them out on my channel. I have everything from chicken to brisket to ribs to beef ribs. Holy, buddy, you just wait. Come on along for the ride. Thanks again for watching.